What is up guys, Wraec here with a new video, and today we're going to take a look at the skill reveal trailer just posted by AFK Journey for the delicious in-dungeon collab. I'm actually excited for this. We're finally going to see the skills of the two heroes coming to AFK Journey, Marcille and Laios, which we are going to be able to summon in just about 5 days when this collab actually drops. We are first going to see the skills. We're going to see if they are powerful. We're going to get a first idea of that, or we are going to see if we have another situation like the Fairy Tale collab here at our hands, where the event itself was pretty good, and that I think that is already like a given. I think we're going to get a very good event around this collab. But the units itself were kind of lackluster, saw rather little play. And I sure hope this is not the case here. So I thought we'll check out the trailer, we're going to react to it, we're going to check it out and see whether or not those units have any hope for them. So let's start in.
Alright, Marcille, it's up to you now.
6 range, good.
I hear you're a top student at the magic school, especially when it comes to ancient magic.
So we already have like the first skill summary. Magic chant was expected. Summon Skyfish, the familiar, is indeed a part of our skills. We kind of talked about this because it was a part of our AFK arena skill set. So I was kind of thinking that this might be a thing. Explosive spell. We already saw that in yesterday's video. Magical Flash is new. Forbidden Resurrection magic is very interesting because I said in my first video that she hates losing people, and that I think that they kind of will incorporate that into her skills. And apparently we get the resurrection skill.
Magic? I'll finally get to see your talents in action today.
Supreme Arena AFK stages here, very interesting. Combination with Laios was to be expected. Elijah Layla, energy I guess. And then we have Valka and Sylvina. Valka providing an attack speed boost, and then Sylvina. I'm actually not too sure why Sylvina. So I tried to recently do a video about Sylvina, and I failed so much that you guys never got to see that, because Sylvina, apart from very, very niche use right now, fairly useless sadly, and I'm waiting for her Supreme Plus Plus because she used to be one of my absolute favorites.
Okay. So this is what Marcille looks like when she casts magic. In battle, Marcille needs to chant before casting her skills, which takes time. Her
That's already like bad. Oh no! Which takes time. We are still in like a meta where that is the one thing we really don't have. We really need like immediate use at the moment. So I don't know. Chanting speed is affected by both haste and attack speed. Okay, yeah, makes sense that they had Valka in there then. Maybe even Parisa too at that stance. And then, okay, increase the haste and energy recovery rate. Yes, stacking up mechanics, very difficult in this meta. You can do it in AFK stages, but in like arena, Supreme Arena, currently I would say with Pack Bond maybe, but beyond that, difficult.
chanting speed is affected by both haste and attack speed, and she continuously attempts to cast her various skills. Each time Marcille completes a chant, she permanently increases her haste and energy recovery rate.
I like how she like cycles through the skills. So she really goes and does like the explosion and then like the blinding stuff. You can see it, yeah.
No wonder everyone says Marcille is gifted with magic. When Marcille casts her ultimate, silver-white wings that streak across the skies, she immediately spends energy and begins chanting. While chanting, energy is continuously drained. After completion, she summons Skyfish to deal damage to enemies in its path.
So we will see the Skyfish actually at another situation in this video, and you can see how it kind of builds like this streak going through 2 enemies. It really tries to line up the enemies and tries to hit as many as possible with like these streaks. We can't really say anything. This is a very, very simple ability, very cool one. It looks very, very nice. But it really comes down to the damage. If this is like super high damage, like an Athalia dash or something, well, we might still play her, right? If this doesn't do damage at all, we'll have to see if that is really worth it. In those trailers, you never get to see it. They intentionally give those units high HP, and you never know how much HP they gave them, just so you can see the actions in the trailer, so they can catch a little bit of gameplay. So yeah, we don't really know if this is going to deal good damage. It seems fancy. It has apparently a casting time. I don't know. Casting time is bad. If it does a lot of damage, maybe?
After chanting for several seconds, Marcille unleashes an explosive spell in the area with the most enemies, dealing damage to all enemies within range.
Yeah, within range is again a question. Like the range isn't specified here. Is it 1 tile range? Is it 2 tile range? Because you always go like by the center tile. You do a center tile and then the tile, either the tiles next to it or the tiles next to that as well. I would probably say 1 tile range, which isn't bad. By no means it isn't bad. I'm kind of hoping it is a little bit like the Siren magic balls that do like a ton of damage. That she kind of has like the same with this explosive skill. Could be cool.
Is there really a monster that can withstand such an explosion? Marcille has also mastered Magical Flash. After chanting briefly, Marcille creates a magical flash of light around an ally, recovering the ally's health, while dealing damage to all nearby enemies and blinding them.
I don't hate that ability. Not at all. Having like a cool melee unit at the start, I mean in this case it's Laios, could be somebody else, could be Belrin, could be whatever. If the targeting is good, an ally surrounded by enemies, if that targeting really works and she doesn't necessarily throw it on some unit that doesn't need it, it could be a very nice help for melee heroes. Could really be. Because that blind really helps you survive a little bit longer, stops the enemy from attacking you, and that could be really helpful indeed. So the heal, it doesn't seem bad. It doesn't seem like you can sustain the hero necessarily just based on that, but having heal built into her and not like necessarily a super bad one together with a bit of CC, why not? Sure, let me get that on my bell run. That could be fun.
Moreover, Marcille can even use forbidden ancient magic shrouded in mystery. After unlocking this exclusive skill, she generates a magic circle at her feet. Then, after chanting, she can revive a defeated allied hero and recover their health.
Okay, talking about revives in general. Reviving on the first idea seems to be like a very good skill. Reviving a unit often is a nice thing. You have a unit that is dead and the unit comes back. It really only, in my experience, is nice, especially if you have like this limited amount of casts to it. If it gives you more than just the unit. Like, let's say, for example, in my other game, Idle Heroes, we have a unit that does a whole lot of damage to the enemy when they die. So, obviously, if you revive them, they do that again. And that is very, very good. It remains to be seen if cast of start of battle abilities trigger again. So, for example, if you revive an Ego, usually has like 2 tombstones around him. If he doesn't have the tombstones, he is very, very vulnerable and not a very good unit. So that is something that is, of course, a question. I doubt they are going to do their start of battle abilities again. So essentially, you get the body back. Is it bad? I could honestly, I'm thinking about Belrin right now. Does this guy respawn with like full HP and then you can just recover him 1 HP or something and trigger his celestial form immediately, which then nukes all enemies around him? That's like the thought that I have right now. But it seems to be a random unit that is revived. So making this targeted could be difficult. I guess in some situations you will just have like your squishiest unit come back, and if that is then good, I don't know. So a bit difficult to kind of assess how often a revive in that sense becomes like valuable. But reviving units in general has also been good in AFK Journey.
Ancient magic can only be successfully cast once per battle. It's worth noting, if Laios is on the team, Marcille can cast ancient magic a second time to revive him. This revival effect can only be used once per battle.
Okay, what they didn't read out is also text on the screen here. If the chanting is interrupted, this skill enters a long cooldown. So it remains to be seen if that is like quite bad from that. Like a small CC could probably interrupt it, and the casting didn't seem very short. The casting of this skill seemed longer than some fights that I've seen in the game. Reviving Laios twice potentially, well, it's pretty cool. I don't hate it. But I don't know if this is necessarily like enough of a key ability to really make her good. You will get 1 copy anyway, which conveniently won't grant you this effect because it's exclusive skill, so Mythic Plus. And during the event, I think we get 2 copies for free. I don't know if they said it's 1 copy coming from the event, but there's also one in the 7-day lock-in. And of course, you get like the radar ticket, so you could probably get like 3-4 copies of her if you really wanted to. I don't know if necessarily the revive is good enough. If there is a unit that you really want to revive, because it kind of gets defeated very quickly. That's the reason probably they have Sylvina, because Sylvina, in my recent testing, is like jumps over to the enemy instantly dead. So yeah, you can revive her now. If you want that, that's another question, I guess. For Laios, pretty cool. It is kind of more working in a slower meta, right? If you remove an enemy unit and finally get to do that, and the fight is already dragging on for a long time, and then she revives, it's of course great. If the meta is slow, if the meta is fast, I don't know. Really the value of a single unit then, without any further effects, isn't really too great.
That's the power of their bond as a dungeon party. To sum it up, Marcille, this prodigy of the magic school, requires the use of chanting to cast her skills. Each time she completes a chant, she permanently increases her haste and energy recovery rate. Through chanting, she can cast skills to summon the Skyfish, unleash the explosive spell, and use magical flash to deal heavy blows to enemies. Also, her resurrection spell, Ancient Magic, shows its true value in important situations. Oh no! A large horde of monsters is approaching! I'm sure...
Okay, what do they say here? Ideal to pair with heroes who can provide attack speed or haste bonus. Okay, yeah, I mean, makes sense. She kind of stacks it herself. If you have something extra, that's of course very nice. They put her with twins, but makes sense. Also provides extra energy. Ability to revive her fallen allies can boost the overall resilience of your formation. Is exactly what we talked about a second ago. The value of the overall resilience of our formation is then another question, of course. If we are fighting burst teams with Purse, or is she the one that won't be able to revive any unit, and on the other hand, that unit won't have much value. You unlock a diverse range of offensive and defensive options. I think that could be her downfall in the end. Having a very diverse range of things that you do might seem good on paper, but we're getting into an AFK journey, hero list that provides solutions in form of heroes for very specific scenarios, and you build your team around those. So having a hero that does all but nothing too well probably won't stand against like teams that have like very, very specific targets, very, very specific ways they defeat the enemy. That could be a problem. If she does everything great, however, I think she needs to kind of be very good at everything to make it into teams. Her damage has to be high, her heal has to be high. I'm not talking about like necessarily super OP, but to keep up with like this super specialized heroes, I think she has to be great at everything. Just not at the level of great that a unit specifically keen to that certain skill would be.
Marcille's used to this by now. As long as no one tries to make dinner out of these questionable ingredients later. Marcille begins chanting as soon as the battle starts. When she finishes chanting, she hits the monsters with a devastating magical attack.
And keep your eye on the back row here. We see that the Skyfish chose to line himself really well up to hit all 3 of those units in the back.
With help from support heroes, Marcille gains boosted energy recovery rate, letting her chant much faster and cast spells more fluidly. If an allied hero is defeated, Marcille can use her forbidden ancient magic to revive them and bring them back into the fight. No monsters can survive a genius magician's magic. All clear now. But Laios didn't get to show that special move he prepared. Marcille says he just got a bit too immersed in his role. Should we really leave him like that?
28th, I'm hyped.
I guess no one else can match your passion for eating monsters?
Physical, we saw at one range.
Laios is a monster expert who knows all their traits and behaviors.
We got the living armor, we already saw it. Monster Nemesis, Monster Analysis, and Ingredient Collector. We'll probably have to talk about Ingredient Collector.
He's led the team through countless challenges.
Interestingly enough, same use. AFK stages, Supreme Arena, once again. Marcille, Elijah, and Layla is the same there. We got Fresto and Brutus, both melee heroes, both fairly tanky units. Not too sure what other synergy I would see here.
Being the party leader, Laios certainly has some standout qualities. His ultimate allows him to summon a living armor. It moves slowly, but has infinite health and high energy. Laios' companion Kensuke controls the living armor's movements and attacks. The living armor loses energy every second while it exists. At 0 energy, it will crumble on the spot and begin recovering energy. Once its energy is full again, it returns to combat.
Okay, first, I love the animation. I love the animation of the armor, when it just, the helmet falls down, when the armor falls to the ground, and Kensuke, by the way, is the what was it? I forgot the word. In his sword, and so is a companion in that sense, and he's controlling the armor. I was very surprised at seeing this gameplay, because usually enemy units will ignore such invincible units and attack something else rather than going in there, but they do attack this armor. That is actually crazy. This armor has infinite HP, but they do attack this armor. So this is very, very interesting. This is indeed very interesting. It is on a timer, but we will see in a second that this is not necessarily always the case.
When casting his ultimate again, Laios recovers a large amount of energy for Kensuke and grants control immunity and increased attack speed.
Fun thing, so it can receive buffs, which is cool. It is not natively control immune, which I was kind of surprised by this, because usually invincible means control immune. So I thought it is invincible. It is not invincible, it just doesn't have infinite HP. So it's a very, very interesting state of a unit to be in that this armor has. But it's cool. So if you are fighting like, I think even high-end AFK stages, and you have some units that attack and they attack this armor, they won't do anything against it. So as long as you can pretty much sustain the armor, which you could if as long as Laios has enough energy, which maybe you can do with twins or like Roan. In theory, this armor will tank anything. Just tank anything. So, could be interesting. I don't know how much use it's really going to get, because there are certain units that have AoE or like the statues I remember with those weird lasers. Those are shooting your allies anyway. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be that OP, but I think it's certainly going to be good that everybody gets it at Mythic Plus.
To Kensuke. Kensuke has high perception and can quickly notify the team of impending danger. Besides summoning the living armor, Laios has another talent, if we can call it that. Stretching out his limbs, Laios makes himself appear larger and shouts to intimidate the enemy. Enemies in front of him become confused. They can't move or act, and their physical defense and magic defense are reduced. If the targets are monsters, the confusion effect lasts even longer. I'm sure Marcille and other members of their party know this trick all too well.
Honestly, I'm almost willing to say that he's going to be really good at AFK stages, because he has like the CC, he has this invincible armor, he has all of that going for him. So there is a lot of things that generally do work well in AFK stages. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but it is there. It is there. I think if you are a new player, imagine you are a new player and you get this unit. You have like CC, you have decent damage, you have all of that, and you get that for free during the event. I think it's a really good start for new players to just get him. The ability itself, pretty good. If the targets are monsters, the confusion effect lasts longer, is a sentence that will worry me for another ability later. So it is not bad. I mean, longer CC for PvP would work too. We got a little bit of fist def and magic def debuffs. Solid.
Whenever an enemy monster is defeated, Laios collects an ingredient from it and recovers energy and health. He cooks these collected ingredients on the spot, providing buffs to nearby allies. When Dungeon Gourmet is actively used, His cooked meal will randomly grant an extra buff for each ingredient he collects, up to a certain limit.
Okay, so we saw, and they didn't read that out in the last one, it said increase their attack for a period of time and recovers HP. So that is what we have in this text. And then in this one, we have Fist Def, Magic Def, Haste, and Reach P, which is really, really good. The thing that was worrying is not in this text, actually, it's in this one. Whenever an enemy monster is defeated. So we specifically saw the difference that they said, like, monsters, the CC lasts longer on monsters. We lack a suitable definition for what a monster is at the moment. I would reckon, for me personally, that means PvE enemies. That is something where an interpretation of that I have heard a lot more often. And so begs the question in the end, if it's going to work in PvP. And having a full skill, and we'll see in a second, there's also a second one, that does not work in PvP, while the unit apparently is also recommended for PvP, is worrying to say the least. Extra buff control trigger a limited number of times as well, and Marcille will recover extra energy. So they do have very strong synergy.
Notably, when Marcille receives the meal buff, she recovers extra energy. After unlocking...
How much was that? 139. Wait, we can go a little bit back. Use the mouse here. There. 139. Not bad. Like from receiving a buff. Could be good. 139. That is actually very weird amount, but quite a lot actually. So we take it. Yeah, I don't hate it. I like the effect. I like the ability in general. I wish we could use it in PvP. I hope we can.
Recovers extra energy. After unlocking his exclusive skill, Laios will show us his prized possession, the Dungeon Gourmet Guide. When a battle starts, if there are any monsters among the enemies, Laios will take out the guide and start analyzing the monsters to make them drop more ingredients. Each monster will prematurely drop an extra ingredient the first time it loses a certain percentage of its max health. It seems Laios is going to be...
I like this ability. I like the way they designed this. I like the way it works. I like that it gives you some buffs at the start and does like the energy recovery and everything. I love that. The only problem is when you write a sentence like when a battle starts, if there are any monsters among the enemies, you implicate that there could be a battle where there are no monsters among the enemies. So thus it could even more so implicate that this ability is kind of useless. And now we're talking about this exclusive skill. So not only does this guy then have a normal ability that would be useless in PvP, he also would have an exclusive skill that would be useless in PvP. And I don't know if you can give a Supreme Arena recommendation if a unit has two abilities that just don't work there.
Busy again. To sum it up, this experienced party leader can summon a living armor controlled by Kensuke. He has surprising talents, like spreading his limbs to intimidate and confuse enemies. And Laios has a knack for analyzing monsters to make them drop more ingredients. He can then prepare dishes with those ingredients to provide buffs for himself and allies.
Makes me wonder if they were just like they're saying, okay, it would be weird if he would start cooking our heroes. Because I mean, it kind of is. He feeds like Chippy and then starts cooking him. That would be a plot twist, I guess. But people wanted to get rid of him anyway, so what does it matter?
Oh no! Another horde of monsters is approaching!
Okay, let's check this out. Takes substantial damage by providing various buffs. Yeah, I like it. Enhance the combat power of heroes for melee-centric formations. Yeah, nice. Support heroes like Elijah, Layla, and Rowan for recovering his energy and then that of the living armor. Okay, we said that as well. To ensure the armor remains on battlefield. No idea when I have Fresto and Brutus. I think it's just like general that they said, okay, we have melee units here. Those are melee units. And I guess that they're approachable melee units. I don't know. Yeah, okay. sum it up. I love his skills for AFK stages. I think it will be so great if you start the game and just get this guy immediately. During the event time, of course, where you just get him for free. I think you will have a very easy start into the game, which should be great for advertisement for them if they do it right and don't do their usual ads, which we also made a video about if you want to check it out. But beyond that, like, I think the recommendation for Supreme Arena, a difficult one. I'm not too sure that is going to be the case. Marcille, I think maybe the synergy effects with Laios will be strong enough to carry her actually in some AFK stage teams. Maybe this will be the case. I don't know. Doesn't have CC. We have to see her damage. She's more interesting in that sense for PvP if we find some good way to incorporate her revive skill and have enough time on that. If we get into a slower meta, I think both will have an opportunity to shine. Though I think Laios could be replaceable if his two skills really don't work in PvP. And overall, there are a lot of points that worry me. I think Laios is good. From the skills, I think Laios will be a great addition to the game and will be interesting for AFK stages and will be a great unit to have at the start of the game. And same really for Marcille, not to the same extent, but I think if you're a new player to the game and you get those units and you start during this event, I think that will be good. That will actually be good.
Laios should be used to situations like this. Oh, he's running straight toward the monsters. Watch as Laios summons living armor controlled by Kensuke, providing solid frontline defense. Then,
I want to see living armor damage.
Collecting ingredients from the monsters, cooking meals that grant buffs to his allies. After enjoying the delicious food, the team's combat...
Interesting. We just saw that Marcille also casts the flash on the armor, because the enemy right at the top is actually blinded right now.
Power surges, allowing them to take down the monsters with ease.
It can be targeted.
No monster can escape Laios' stomach. The situation is resolved. However, it seems like I saw Marcille frowning while eating strange food. But according to Laios, she's just being picky. Nothing to worry about, I guess.
I mean, it's also kind of difficult. Do some of our factions count as monsters? Can we cook wallers? I don't know. I have to really come up with a good definition for that. Yeah, so lastly, I think if you want to prepare, there is of course one thing to mention. And that is that the cheapest dragon crystals still come from LD Shop. And with the link down in the description, if you click that, if you register an account, you get a 15% and a 5% discount coupon. You make your purchases even cheaper. And now it's the Black Friday week. That means every purchase above 80 USD will actually give you a 5 USD coupon. You can get one per account, per LD Shop account, per day, so make use of that. Get yourself some very cheap classic gazettes here as well, because those give you 3,000 diamonds on purchase, making it way easier to prepare for Laios and Marcille. And if you want to support my channel as well, then well, you can help me by clicking the link before you purchase. It will lead you to basically the same shop page with a different URL, and if you buy something through that, you also support my channel, which I would very deeply appreciate. So thank you guys in advance for doing that. Yeah, and with that we come to the end of the video, and hopefully we are going to see a good collab. I'm very hyped for it. The last collab was quite fun, I have to say. And now I hope the next one will be too. So a big event coming up. I will keep you guys informed. We will do some in-depth testing as soon as the units arrive and are testable on the global servers. And I hope you subscribe for that. Other than that, I would just wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.